I'm Gary Webster. I'm an equity release practitioner, so I'm actively operating in this market currently. I also work very closely with the Equity Release Council in terms of sitting on one of their committees, which is their policy affairs group. This will not be new to you in terms of the reason why people release equity from their property. Well, obviously you've got those who, it's a lifestyle choice. They're comfortable, but they want more from retirement. They want a bit of income. They want a bit of capital. They're aspirational people, 70 is now not old. It's the new 55. You've got people running marathons in their 80s. The reality is people are aspiring in retirement, and they're going to use their hard-earned asset to do that. And to be fair, we've got a generation in retirement who have done very, very well from the housing market, certainly since the early 70s. So they've done extremely well, so why shouldn't they use it? Obviously, we've got those who are needs-based, and a lot of that is primarily being driven from, as I said earlier, from interest-only mortgages in retirement, and those clients who are, pretty much got no savings and they're wiped out. We do see a little bit in the high net worth sector. I want to be clear about this. This is not inheritance tax planning, but we do see living inheritance as a way and a good solution for some clients who want to use equity release as a solution now by giving some form of lifetime gift, paying for care costs in some cases. So really looking at some of the opportunities why clients take equity release, and again some of these headers here will not be any surprise to you. We've certainly seen, as I said earlier, pension and savings shortfall, and again that shouldn't be any surprise because it came up in the budget too. We see many clients who actually want to use their property to increase their income in retirement, either by taking initial summing equity release and using a drawdown facility to take money on a ad hoc basis to supplement their income. We see more and more clients who are in debt in retirement, and that's partly because many borrowers that we see, potential customers, were hit very hard when interest rates fell rather quickly. And so therefore a 0.5% base rate has not been kind to our market. So many clients were paying, we see clients that have been paying their gas bills or by credit card, their utility bills by credit card. So it is a big factor. As I said earlier, living inheritance is quite a big one for us. The other part of the market which is rising very quickly for us is domiciliary care, where particularly clients and families want their parents to remain in the home or a parent to remain in the home, and they will do a small release, let's say £30,000-40,000, downstairs bathroom and shower room, wheelchair ramps and so on, and clients will remain in their home rather than looking to go into care or something more accommodating. That's a very, very big part of the market actually at the moment for us. As I said earlier, downsize is not an option. People don't want to leave the homes that they've lived in for 40, 50 years. They want their possessions around them. And to release, let's say, £30,000 to modify a home, keep mum and dad or one parent in a home over a period of time is much more appealing for some. The other area, just for interest for you, is that we're actually seeing a reasonable sized market in purchase. So we're seeing more and more clients who want to buy a house. They might go and see a conventional mortgage broker who says, I'm sorry, but you're 70, you may have income, but it's going to be very difficult for us to achieve. And equity release, lifetime mortgages satisfy that need very nicely. So I'm just going to wrap up now. So in terms of what is holding advisors back from entering this sector, I'm not going to pick out every one, but brokers and advisors that we talk to, some will say, yes, it is very time consuming, and it can be when you're sitting in people's homes at 7 o'clock at night, meeting the beneficiaries. It's a bit like being at the pictures sometimes when they've got 5 or 6 children, so sometimes you could be talking to 7 people at the same meeting, so it can be quite time consuming. business models are incompatible. Obviously, you've got the cost and compliance and the oversight that goes with equity release. But there are some advice factors where we talk to advice firms that actually they don't like going into these areas. Obviously, means-tested benefits is a big one. And you've got to be very, very careful with means-tested benefits with clients already on means-tested benefits, because you cannot wipe out what they're already receiving. Another area, a lot of advisors that we talk to do not like explaining gilt-based early repayment charges. The movement in gilt yields can be quite daunting for some, so you have to be quite experienced to be able to explain the movement in gilt yields and what that will mean to a client. Obviously, there's the area of dealing with vulnerable clients particularly, and before we say clients are not vulnerable, potentially they are vulnerable at a certain age, and it just needs a duty of care. Dealing with power of attorneys can be quite difficult at times because you have to ensure that you're acting in the best interests of the client, and some power of attorneys do not all want to do that. There's a lot of paperwork and administration. The last thing is, how do you generate leads? It's an interesting one. So there's some of the factors what's holding back advisors. So really, for me to wrap up in terms of the plug and the advert, is that whether you do it yourself, guys, or whether you want to refer, we are one of the UK's leading whole-of-market equity release advice businesses. We do enjoy exclusive terms from our lenders. We have very close relationships with our lenders, and for some of them we actually package their business for them as well. We are that close, we're extracting valuations and so on. So we have that. We can do a lot of the work on your behalf if you wanted us to, and for many advisors, particularly in the investment market, they come along to the meeting with us to ensure that they have an active part in the meeting and understanding what the outcome is. And obviously we're 100% responsible for the advice and recommendation that we give. So that's a compliance burden that you guys do not have to take on. And lastly, some say referrals, and maybe I've said referrals, but we just do relationships. So, it's not about refer to us, it's we want to ensure that we are working with you as closely as we can going forwards.